So now you've set the ambiance, what are you going to do for food? Well, you don't have to be real complex. You don't have to spend a lot of time and money on it. In fact, you could even order out. But the idea of bringing it home, like let's say your wife loves Chinese. So order out Chinese and have it brought in before dinner, and then rather than serving it on paper plates or in the boxes, put it on your own plates and make it look nice, just so it shows that you've taken that extra effort.
But do you tell her you cooked it?
And you can let her figure that out. And if you want to do a little bit of cooking but not a lot, maybe order in the main course and then make the salad or make an appetizer yourself, showing that you've gone through a little bit of effort. And in a little bit we will go in and make an appetizer, a feta cheese fondue. Fondue is a great beginner to the meal because it's finger food. There's nothing more sensual than eating with your fingers and really getting into the food. And it's extremely simple. You'll see we'll put it together very quickly.
Will you be offering any sort of takeout like that for a Valentine's Day meal that somebody could pick up during that week that would be frozen? They could
I certainly do. I offer these do-it-yourself romantic dinner packages. And you can choose from either just an entree or a full 3-course, 4-course meal. You can come in a couple of days beforehand. They're all boxed with very detailed instructions. I make them very simple so that you don't have to be an expert cook. You can just follow the instructions. And then you can tell your spouse or your loved one that you've cooked. I won't break your secret.
So the perfect shortcut almost to a wonderful romantic evening at home is you set the table, and of course someone like Jeff can cook, can provide the food.
Of course. Very good.
So we're now going to take a trip into your kitchen.
Yeah, let's take a look at making this fondue, and we'll see how that goes.
The recipe today and the ingredients will all be available both on the Park District website on the WSPD tab or on your website, which is?
That's right. If you go to jeffcancook.com, there is a recipes tab at the top of my page that has a number of recipes, including this one, and you're welcome to browse through. Okay, so we're going to start today. Again, it's a feta cheese fondue. And I've got some things prepped up, and we'll get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with 4 tablespoons of butter. That's a half a stick of butter. Don't be afraid by the butter. It's all good.
And this is real butter.
This is all real butter. It's important to use unsalted butter for this because we're going to be adding salt, and feta cheese is salty on its own, and so we don't want to add more salt by using salted butter. So use that unsalted stuff. Once that's melted, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. This is just all-purpose flour directly to that. And I'm using a whisk, and we're just going to whisk that together and create a roux. Add 2 cups of milk. Now in this case I'm using skim milk. You can use whatever kind of milk you want. If you want a richer fondue, use a whole milk, but the skim milk works just fine. Through the magic of television, I have one here that I've already thickened up, and you can see it's very thick here. It's almost like a white gravy.
How long will that take?
About 10 minutes.
Okay.
Or until it gets to this point, and you'll be able to tell just by whisking it when it's.
And should you be stirring constantly?
Not constantly, just occasionally, so it doesn't stick to the bottom and burn like that. We have 6 ounces of crumbled feta cheese. Once it's crumbled, that's about a cup. So that just goes right in. We have about a tablespoon of chopped parsley, goes right in, and about 2 tablespoons or 2 stalks of green onion, okay, just chopped up. And once that is in, you're just going to whisk it together. It'll go very fast because the sauce, the milk mixture, has been on the stove, so it's nice and hot. And once the feta cheese hits, it's going to melt up right away. And for this, you do want to whisk it or stir it pretty constantly because you want everything to come together. Otherwise, it'll burn to the bottom of the pan. I'm going to season that with a little bit of salt. I'm using kosher salt, just a pinch, and then some cracked black pepper. If you've got a grinder, a couple grinds. If you have the shaker, a couple shakes. Again, whisk that together, and that is it.
So even though we call this fondue, we're not going to serve it in a traditional fondue pot. It's much easier to make it on the stove and then for serving.
Right,
Okay.
and because it's an appetizer, it's the first thing you're having, you don't have to worry about keeping it hot. It's going to be hot on its own, and you're only going to eat it for, it's going to be out there for 20, 30 minutes before you move on to your next course.
And
So-
it's a great way to break down that conception barrier too, because I always think of fondue, what a pain in the neck, got to get out the pot and the sterno.
Right, right.
This is a nice shortcut.
Right. So here what I've done, I've already pre-assembled a bunch of dipping items around. We just have broccoli, carrots, some apples and pears, some nice crusty bread. In this case, I just tore it apart. I like the look and feel of just the torn bread. And then just a bowl right in the center. And we'll go ahead and add our fondue right to that bowl. Even leftovers for the kids. And then, whenever you're putting things on, there's a reason why food looks nice when it comes from a restaurant. That's because every dish that they send out, they have a little garnish on it so that it looks nice. And so to give it that final touch, I just took some parsley, just some of the same parsley we chopped up, and then you can just kind of just tuck it right in, and there's your garnish, and there's your fondue. And it's all set up for you and your loved one to just sit around the table or sit on the couch or whatever and eat. And you don't need any utensils. You don't need those special fondue forks. You just pick something up, dip it in, and good to go.
No fuss fondue.
Exactly. Normally when I set a table like this, all of the dessert utensils, fork, spoon, whatever, go at the top of the plate. You see there's no dessert things up here. When you're doing a romantic dinner, plan on having dessert someplace else. Maybe in front of the fireplace, maybe on the couch, maybe wherever. So just do dessert someplace else and
Kick back and relax.
Exactly. And probably just something a little bit lighter, even if it's just strawberries and whipped cream, something that's going to be a little bit on the light side.
Which sounds delicious. And Jeff, thank you for joining us today. And if you're not going out to dinner this year for Valentine's Day and cooking at home, have a good time doing it yourself, working on it yourself. Or remember, Jeff can cook for you too. And you can also check out his website at...
It is jeffcancook.com.
Or visit parkfun.com. And from the Go Show, happy Valentine's Day.